if you're a medical professional, I have specific investing strategy that I want to share with you. A couple of weeks ago, just for fun, I was lining up outside ABC Bullion to buy some gold bullions because I like to keep some gold on my desk at any time. Somebody came up to me and said, "Hey Will, I've been really enjoying your content. Can we have a chat?" All right, not a problem. So David, this is a shout out to you. Okay, so I learned that David is actually a dentist and he's about to have a liquidity event. So he's selling basically his clinic, his practice, and he's going to end up with around $5 million cash. And he's trying to figure out, well, how can I retire with the $5 million cash? How should I invest it? How should I grow it? You know, et cetera, et cetera. So as we're talking, this is the exact advice that I shared with David, which I'd like to share with you. And this applies to medical professionals, if you're a dentist, if you're a doctor, if you're a vet. One of the advantages of being a medical professional is that banks love to lend you money. If you go to a lot of these specialized medical lenders, for example, Medfin, medical finance, I suppose that's what it's short for, you can apply for a 90% LVR on a commercial property. That's 90%, which is huge. So in David's case, I told him, look, this is how you can very quickly build a $30 million property portfolio and basically retire straight away. So this is how it works. And let me break it down. So in David's case, he's got $5 million. And we know banks are going to lend him 90% LVR. So which means for any property that he wants to buy, he needs to put in a 10% deposit plus purchasing costs. So what does that look like? So you got deposit. Whoops. 10%, and you get purchasing costs, which is like stamp duty, legal costs, etc. You know, that could be roughly around 17%. Okay, so if you get $5 million, that means you can buy a total of, what's that? 5 million divided by 17%. You can basically buy $29.5 million worth of commercial property. Let's call it $30 million. Okay. So the catch is, in order for you to be able to buy this much amount of money, is that the rental income must cover obviously all the outgoings and rental payments and mortgage payments and all that type of stuff. So what we do know is that currently interest rates is somewhere between sort of 5.5 to 5.8%. That means for every property that we add to our portfolio, the minimum yield that we need to account for is is 5% net. Why? Because we're putting in 10%. Okay, so we're borrowing at 5.5%. We're putting in 10%. That means the minimum yield that we need to achieve is 5% to basically acquire this property. So these properties basically look after itself in terms of a cash flow perspective. And then over time, these rents will continue to grow. Typically they'll grow by CPI every single year, and then every sort of 5 to 6 years it will have a quantum leap because market rents will get adjusted. Now, that is a very basic way of doing it. What I would do if it was me, I would actually look at assets that has a minimum yield of 6% net. Why? Because straight off the bat, I'm earning 1% income off my portfolio without doing anything. So there is a difference between, there's a 1% difference, between what you're receiving in income and what you're paying out in mortgage payments, okay? So that 1% on a $30 million portfolio, so you've got cash flow equals $300,000 per year. How good is that? So from a very simplistic way of looking at it, if you get $5 million and you're a medical professional, you can go and buy $30 million worth of commercial property. And if you're buying properties with minimum 6% yield, you can retire on $300,000. Maybe you can't retire because you're a doctor, you want to bring more money, but you've got a portfolio that's cash flowing you $300,000. That $300,000 will grow over time, but if you combined some of our value add strategies on these assets that you're buying, we can very quickly turn $300,000 into $500,000 in a matter of 2 to 4 years. And then that $500,000 will then continue to grow by CPI of 4%, and then every 5 to 7 years, you'll have a bit of a quantum leap. It'll go up by 20% or 30% in that period. So very quickly, in 5 to 7 years' time, you could be sitting on a commercial property portfolio that is generating you $600,000-$700,000 in positive cash flow. Plus, because the rent's gone up, the value of the property has also gone up, which means your LVR has also reduced, which is going to create a much better buffer on your portfolio. So let me break this down. Okay, so your portfolio value or purchase price is 30 million, let's call it. You've got a 90% loan on it, 90% LVR. So you've got debt, you've got $27 million debt on your portfolio. And then we're looking at a 6% yield on it. That equals 1.8 million. But we're also looking at interest payments, okay? So interest payments of 5.5%. On 27 million is roughly 1.5 million if my math is right. Yep, my math is right, is $1.5 million. Okay, so your cash flow, like I said, is $300,000. Okay, you guys are smart, you guys are doctors, I'm sure you guys follow this. All right, so what happens? So we're gonna start implementing some of these value add opportunities, rental reversions, maybe some refurbishments, change of use or whatever. But if we just stick with the basic rental reversion, if you look at all the case studies on my website, you'll see that we're looking at increasing rents by 30, 40, even 50% in periods of sort of 2 to 3 years' time. So let's say we're successful in increasing your rent from 1.8 million. Let's say we increase it by, conservatively, let's say we increase by 30%. Your new cash flow or your new rental income equals what's 1.8 times 130%? $2.34 million. Now less your interest rate, which is still 1.5, you've got now cash flow of $840,000. That's achievable in the span of 2 or 3 years, just by doing that. And because you've increased your income by 30%, you've also increased the value of your property by 30% as well. So your portfolio is now worth $39 million, which means your LVR have now reduced to 27 divided by 39. They've reduced to 70%. Now you've got a 30% buffer between equity and debt. That's very, very healthy. And then as this continues to grow, your LVR will continue to drop. So once you kind of get below 65, 60, 50%, you can sleep very well at night. And in no time, your cash flow will hit $1 million. So this strategy is specifically designed for medical professionals, not for any other professions, okay? Now, this video is dedicated to David, whom I met on the street. Thank you so much for watching my content, and also to my great friend, James, as well, who's asked me about how to structure his wealth. So this is what I would do, all right, guys? So if you want to have a chat to me or to my team about how to get started on building your portfolio, then definitely hit the link below, book in a call, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.